Hey, hey, hey. Time for the Out of This World story from rSpace. Turning 50 is supposed to come with some perks, like wisdom, perspective, maybe fancy cake. Instead, OP celebrates by staring down the barrel of 2 decades of marriage gone sideways. Today on rSpace, welcome to the half-century mark. Wife performed acts for her ex on Videocall. I exposed her to the world, and now she's hiding her face. I, 50 male, have been lurking here for a while and now gathered the courage to open up. Today, I turned 50. I know it's a big day. I also envisioned being surrounded by friends and family. But see my misery. I'm sitting here alone at a cafe, opening up in front of strangers. Don't even have one single person to share my emotions. I wasn't always the same. Once I also had a family, life, wife, and kids. But today, didn't even get a text from my kids. That's what happens when you burn down your own house to avenge your cheating wife. This happened 2 years ago, and yeah, there are things I'm not proud of. Looking back, I realized maybe I could have handled it differently, but at that moment, I did what I thought was right. For background, I was married to the cheating wife for 17 years. I have 2 sons, 14 and 11. I work in IT. I'm the guy who comes around to fix your computer or Wi-Fi when it's broken. It's not a fancy job, but the pay is decent. Cheating wife worked as a primary school teacher. Back in 2012, my company expanded into Germany. They needed someone to set up security, and I was offered the role with double pay, accommodation, and all expenses covered. Honestly, I was hesitant. My whole life had been in my home city, but cheating wife pushed me, said it was a great opportunity for my career and the pay would secure our family's future. So we moved. Within a year, our younger son was born there. Life was stable and comfortable. Then COVID hit. My company had to shut down the operation in Germany. I was asked to move back to the base location. Cheating wife got her school job back, and life went back to its usual until summer of 2023. That's when everything spiraled down. In summer of 2023, cheating wife got an invite to our high school reunion. She hadn't been to one in nearly a decade because we were out of the country. She was excited, went shopping, getting her hair and nails done. I didn't see anything unusual in it. It's normal to be excited to meet friends after so many years. It was after the party that things started to shift. It was like I got back a different woman. The change wasn't overnight, but it was steady enough that, looking back, I should have seen the storm coming. The first night, she came home late. I was half asleep on the couch when she walked in. Her heels were in her hand, her hair was messy, but she had that glow, like she'd just come back from some teenage adventure. She kissed me quickly, more like a formality than an affection, and went straight to the bathroom. Stayed in there for a long time. When she came out, she climbed into bed without a word. I took it as a hangover. Over the next week, she grew distracted, like her mind was always somewhere else. I'd be telling her about a problem at work or what the kids did at school, and she'd nod at the right places, but her eyes weren't on me. They were on her phone. The phone became an extension of her hand. Every buzz, every ding. She was on it instantly, grinning down at the screen like a teenager texting her crush. She was glued to it 24/7. If I asked, they would say, "Oh, silly texts in the school chat group." At first, I brushed it off. I know how it goes when a new WhatsApp group is formed. It's hot for a week, then it fizzles out. In this case, it was months, and she was still hooked to it. Locking herself in the guest room, giggling on video calls. I asked what they talked about. She waved me off. "Nothing serious, just silly stuff." Before the reunion, cheating wife wasn't much of a phone person. She had her little Facebook groups, teachers' chats, and family messages. But she'd leave her phone lying around. Now it was glued to her. She carried it into the bathroom, into the shower, even kept it under her pillow at night. She changed her password. I only knew because one night I reached for her phone to set an alarm, and it locked me out. When I asked about it, she snapped, "It's for privacy. Everyone deserves it." Privacy. After 17 years of marriage, suddenly she wanted privacy. Her attitude towards me hardened. Little things turned into fights. Sex became mechanical when it happened at all. She'd lie there, eyes closed with no spark or intimacy. Even with the kids, she shifted. She used to be all about them, helping with homework and bedtime routine. After the reunion, she pawned those tasks off on me more and more. She'd retreat into the guest room with her phone, video calling her friends. The kids would knock on the door, and she'd shoo them away. And then came the first real red flag. One night she was cooking dinner and left her phone on the couch. It buzzed nonstop. Out of habit, I picked it up. The screen lit up with Skype notifications. At that time, I didn't even know she used Skype. When I tapped on the screen, Her reaction was instant. She ran in like the house was on fire, literally snatched it out of my hands and snapped, "Don't be nosy." I was dumbstruck. I knew people don't guard silly chats with that kind of desperation. I asked who it was. She threw out some excuse about her girlfriends planning their next meetup, practicing some dance routine for Instagram Reels. She was talking fast, stumbling over her words. I pretended to believe her, but her body language screamed otherwise. I let it go in the moment, but inside, I knew. That night, when I thought she was asleep, I felt the bed vibrate as she pulled her phone out from under the pillow. I cracked my eyes open just enough to see her grinning into the glow of the screen, whispering into her mic. She stayed like that until past 2 a.m., giggling, biting her lip, completely lost in whatever fantasy world she was building on the other side of that phone. That's when I knew it wasn't just old friends or silly stuff. That was when the betrayal really began. I tried to check her phone whenever she left it unattended, but she had changed her password. If I asked, she'd just get smarter, maybe delete everything. So I stayed low and instead used my skills. I installed a keylogger on her laptop. She rarely carried it around, so I had plenty of time to set it up. I honestly didn't expect much. She was glued to her phone after all, but I figured it was worth a shot. For the first few days, nothing came up. She browsed for children's crafts, watched movies, and did some window shopping. On the weekend, I had planned to take my boys golfing. I asked her to join. She said she wants to have the house to herself one day. In the afternoon, when the boys were relaxing after being in the sun, I opened the keylogger on my phone. I saw she downloaded Skype after we left home. That's when I struck gold. The moment she logged in, her old chats synced to her laptop. When I saw his name, I immediately recognized it was her high school boyfriend. He was married now, with 3 kids, lived 2 states away, and that's why I was never bothered about him, even when she was so excited for the reunion. Everyone has a past and people get over it, don't they? I opened the chat history and it felt like being stabbed over and over. They started talking after the reunion, said their couple dance had reignited the fire. They reminisced about sneaking out back in school, having sex at the odd places possible. Parents' truck, garage, neighbors' basements. She told him she missed the fire they had. He said he dreamed about her for years, talked about how big he was and how he satisfied her with his strength. Then I saw the parts about me. She mocked me, called me small, said I couldn't satisfy her. Reading those words was humiliating beyond measure. It got worse. The keylogger captured video call logs. I watched in disbelief as she stripped for him on camera. He did the same. They touched themselves, moaning. He promised her the next time they met, it would be 100 times hotter. She said she wanted him in every way. They talked in detail about their desires and fantasies and how they want to fulfill them with each other. I felt sick, but I didn't let that feeling sink in. I monitored her logs for a week. Gathered and documented every dang thing. This woman was stripping for her lover while my kids were waiting for her at the dinner table. Can you imagine the level of disgust I had? However, I kept my calm and took a lawyer's appointment. Meanwhile, noted down every activity with a timestamp. One evening, it was a Tuesday, seared into my memory. Our younger boy had been running a fever since morning. When I came back from work, she was making him a hot soup. She asked me to feed him and tuck him in. She said she had some activities to plan for the school and shut herself up in the guest room with her laptop. I did what she asked me to do, gave him the meds and tucked him in. However, my boy kept waking up, asking for his mom. He's always been closer to her, and normally she would be the one sitting by his bedside, stroking his hair. After I put him back for the 3rd time, he asked about his mom. I said she was busy with work. He almost sobbed. "Mom's always busy with work these days. Doesn't have time for us." I swallowed the anger and put him to sleep. I walked back out and opened the tracker to see what cheating wife was actually doing. The keylogger had picked up her Skype login. I pulled up the mirrored screen, and there she was, my wife, the mother of my kids, sitting in the guest room in lingerie, talking about her desires, undressing and touching herself, whispering things like, "I can't wait to feel you inside me again. I've been starving for this." Meanwhile, my son was crying for her down the hall. That was it. I rushed to the guest room to confront. The door was locked. I banged on it hard. She opened it after a good 5 minutes, which felt like an eternity to me. She was in her nightgown. Now you know why it took her 5 minutes. I asked what she was doing. She fumbled school activities. I screamed, "Stop lying. I knew you were stripping for your lover." I called her all the names in the book. My patience level had broken and all the emotions came flowing out. She stood there stunned. My bad luck. The boys heard the screaming and came out. Cheating wife played her card, rushed to the younger one and apologized, took him into his room. Both my boys are mom's pet. I can't blame them. They were a little over 11 and 8 back then. Her attitude made me furious. I came back to my study to calm myself down. I couldn't. I wanted her whole world to burn just like she was burning mine. I was so enraged that I wanted to yell and tell the world. And that's what I did. I sat down and started gathering everything. Screenshots of her dirty chats, the Skype feed, every humiliating message where she trashed me, called me boring, small, a dead bedroom, every clip of her touching herself for another man. I opened Facebook and dumped it all. Tagged her parents, her siblings, her school's principal, her coworkers, and most importantly, her lover's wife. The caption was short and sharp. Here's what my wife of 17 years does at night while her son lies sick in bed calling for her. This is who she really is. It didn't take long. Almost immediately, my phone started buzzing. I switched it off. I'm sure hers was ringing too, but she had left it in the guest room. That's why she had no idea what had happened. Then her house phone rang. I ignored it. It rang again. Cheating wife answered, and then she rushed to the guest room. Maybe to grab her phone or check it herself before confronting me. Next, she stormed into my room, locked her from the inside and hurled abuses at me. Screamed at me for ruining her life. Cried that I had no right to share private moments. I laughed in her face. Private? You made a fool out of me for months. The whole world should know what you are. She threatened me. I'm going to sue you for uploading me on a public platform without my consent. Take it down now. She flipped it around at me as if all of it was false. Claimed it was not cheating as they didn't do real sex. I stormed out of the house because her gaslighting was pushing me to the edge. Never for once did she take responsibility for her actions. It was like, I didn't cheat. It was just talk. Should have confronted me before going nuclear. I went out to my friends, who had also called me thrice after seeing the post. Even he said I took it too far. The post spread like wildfire. Comments, shares, calls, messages. Everyone saw her for what she was. There was no going back. Meanwhile, her parents also left a pleading voicemail, begging me to take it down. Said I was humiliating the family. I took it down, but the damage was done. I crashed at my friend's place that night, and when I came back home next morning, she was gone with the boys. I didn't care about her, but my sons were my life. I called her parents and they confirmed they were there. They also told me that cheating wife was suspended from school pending an investigation. She called the principal to call in sick to avoid facing controversy. That's when the principal informed her that she was sent on a forced leave until further notice. Not because of the affair itself, but because the student's parents saw the post and started questioning her morality as a teacher. Overnight, the principal had received several emails from the parents. Hence, he had to take action. Things went downhill for the affair partner as well. His wife unleashed hell, messaged thanking me for exposing him. Said, I knew he was dirty. You just handed me the proof I needed. She played it cold, took her children and moved in with her sister, hired a lawyer, and served him with outrageous demands, demanding half of everything, the house, the cars, the accounts, and full custody of the kids. Affair partner tried to spin it, of course, said it was just an online flirting, no real cheating, that she was blowing things out of proportion. She didn't budge, said he was morally unfit to be around her children, and the court, of course, bought it. He had to give it without a fight because, if he didn't, she'd make sure every parent in their neighborhood and every parent at their kid's school saw exactly what kind of man he was. She got the house, but she sold it, moved back closer to her family, and was dating again. Yes, within a year of her divorce, she started her new life, while the affair partner rented a small apartment and kept low to avoid public shame. Sometimes I think about it. Our affair partner's wife and my lives mirrored but diverged. Both of us got cheated, and both of us lost our marriage, but here's the difference. She came out strong. She took control, protected her kids, and carved a new path. I, on the other hand, have self-destructed. I let guilt and loneliness eat me alive. After the explosion, things only got darker for me. Cheating wife never let me see the kids again. Not once. She cut me out of their lives entirely, blocked my number, blocked my own socials. Whenever I tried the landline, it was either her parents answering in their flat, cold voices, the kids don't want to talk to you, or it would ring endlessly and go to voicemail. I never left a voicemail. What should I even say? Once I called 10 times in one night. When cheating wife finally picked up, screamed, I'll make sure you never see their faces again, and hung up. I tried showing up at their school once, just desperate to see them and tell them the truth. My elder boy spotted me before I could reach him. He rushed over, and for a split second, I thought he was going to hug me. Instead, he glared and told me to leave. Said I embarrassed them and made them suffer, subject them to mockery, that they'd never forgive me for ruining everything. Said their lives were broken because of me, and then he walked away. I felt like a criminal. At first, I thought it was just cheating wife poisoning them against me, but I found out what was really happening. Her lawyer shared the kid's therapist notes at the court, and it gutted me worse than anything. My Facebook post didn't just blow up in our world, it bled into theirs. The elder one suffered the most. They were nearly bullied at school. Someone remarked, "Your mom's the slut on Facebook." They came home devastated. They never blamed their mother for what she did. It was always me. Dad ruined our lives. That's how cheating wife spun it clean. She told them I was the one who humiliated her, that she'd only been chatting with an old friend, that nothing serious was happening. She cried in front of them, told them she was depressed, that I ruined her career, that I made their lives hell. She also claimed that the videos and screenshots were morphed. I did her to ruin her. The irony was that she didn't claim it to be false in court. There, she accepted everything, but the kids don't come to court hearings. They know whatever information their mother and their grandparents give them. They don't have the maturity to pick apart manipulation. They saw their mother crying, saw her out of a job, and believed every word. They got to know that their father had posted their mother's pictures on social. And they believed the half-truth. The guilt swallowed me whole. I started believing maybe they were right. Maybe I did ruin everything. Maybe my anger cost me my sons. The divorce process was just paperwork after that. Cheating wife demanded alimony since she had no job, plus full custody. I fought for joint custody, at least visitation, but my kids refused to meet me. The court doesn't force children that age to see a parent if they're resistant. So I signed papers that basically said I was their father on record, but nothing more. She got half of everything I owned, savings, investments, plus alimony, child support, and the kids. A bitter trade. She left the house to me. I sold it soon after. Couldn't stand the empty rooms. Moved into a smaller apartment. Then the real spiral began. I gained 25 pounds, lived off junk food and beer. Old Monk became my nightcap, sometimes my breakfast. I went through days in a haze, dragging myself to work just enough not to get fired. Everything felt pointless. Some nights, I sat in the dark staring at the ceiling, wondering if ending it would hurt less than living through this. I became suicidal at one point. The only thing that stopped me was the thought of my kids, the faint, pathetic hope that one day they'll understand me, that maybe I'd get to tell them the truth. That thread was all that kept me tethered. Meanwhile, cheating wife played the victim perfectly. To her parents, to the community, to the kids. "He destroyed me. He humiliated me. He ruined our family." No mention of what she did. No mention of her ex. No mention of those nights she locked herself in the guest room while our son burned with fever. She rewrote the truth, and everyone swallowed it. It took me 2 years to start clawing my way back. Therapy was the first step. At first I sat there stone-faced, hating every second. But the therapist chipped away at me, helping me unload the anger, the guilt, the shame. Then he insisted I do some physical activities. I started with walking, and then joined a gym. Couldn't run for 5 minutes at first without gasping like an old dog. Now I can do 30. I started journaling. Writing down the days, the flashes of memory, the nightmares. Some nights, I still wake up sweating, but putting words on paper makes them weigh less on my chest. I'm not healed, far from it. Some days, I even feel like I'm drowning again. That's why I'm writing here. It's not for pity, or to play the hero or the victim. It's just another step in making peace with myself. It won't fix anything. Perhaps typing it out feels like letting some of the poison out. I know I'll get a lot of heat for being stupid and letting cheating wife outsmart me. That I ruined my kids' lives. That I was impulsive. That I burned the whole house down when I could have just walked away. Maybe that's true. But what worse can happen? My kids already hate me. The worst has already happened. Now I'm just trying to survive long enough to maybe get a chance to tell them the truth one day. Just maybe. You didn't ruin the family, she did. Every decision she made, from cheating to manipulating the narrative to cutting you out of your kids' lives, was hers. You reacted to a house she already set on fire. Every excuse she spat, every tear she cried, was a highlight reel of her own narcissism. Your anger? Perfectly justified. Your nuclear option? She earned it 10 times over. Do you have or know of a similar story? Share it with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you soon.